Welcome everyone to the Extrovert Diaries, confessions and daily life adventures of an ex-social butterfly and world traveler whose life shifted in 2021 when she moved across the country from Toronto, Ontario to Calgary, Alberta. I'm Cornelia, an extrovert turned somewhat of a homebody who's been adjusting to this new way of life over the past few years. And let me tell you, it's been an adjustment. Everyone loves a good introvert series, and so I thought, why not share the opposite perspective, learning to thrive in a world of remote work, smaller communities, and shifted priorities. So come along with me as I discover my new norm and still seek to find some of those extroverted adventures that I love so much. And as always, thanks for being here. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to launch this new series called the Extrovert Diaries. When I first was inspired to do this series, I had watched a lot of YouTubers who did the Introvert Diaries, a lot of days at home, bookstores, cafes, moments of quiet. And I was like, I don't feel like I could do a series like that because I'm not really an introvert. I'm not an introvert at all. I mean, of course, I like my alone time, but I'm very much an extrovert. And I was like, there should be something called the Extrovert Diaries. And I looked it up on YouTube and I really didn't see much content. There was a couple videos here and there, but I was like, wait a second, there's a total market for the Extrovert Diaries. Like the introverts have a bunch of content. Why not make some extroverted content? And I was like, these could just be fun vlogs where I take you through some fun adventures, going out with friends. So basically a little bit of backstory on me. First of all, if you're new, welcome. I'm a Canadian creator. I'm predominantly based in Western Canada, but I lived in Toronto for many years. So the bulk of my friends are in Ontario. My family's in Ontario. I have family in Nova Scotia, but I currently live in Western Canada. And I love to make content about living your best life, building a life of your dreams, but doing it in a way that's sustainable and with balance. I like to work hard. I like to have fun, but I also like to have wellness at the forefront of everything I do. So this new series is inspired by the big changes that I've seen in my life over the last few years. So in 2021, I moved from Toronto, Ontario to Calgary, Alberta. And if you're not familiar with Canada, Toronto's our biggest city. It's kind of like a mini New York. And Calgary is like, well, we call Alberta the Texas of Canada. It's a lot more nature focused. It's a lot less busy of a city. There's a lot less going on in terms of like nightlife and things to do compared to Toronto. So as somebody who lived in Toronto for almost 10 years, spent my 20s in Toronto, moving to Calgary was like a very big adjustment for me. I only knew a handful of people. I didn't have the same community base that I had in Toronto. So it was quite the contrast when I moved here. And upon moving here, I got into my first long-term serious relationship. I ended up moving in with my boyfriend after about 1.5 years of living together, bought a cottage in BC. And so I basically went from living downtown Toronto, single, going out with friends, working all the time, to moving to Alberta, being in a relationship, living just outside of the city and having a place in the country. So my life did a total 180. Like if you ask any of my friends, they'll be like, I've never seen somebody's life change so drastically the way that yours did. And it's been wonderful. I love my new life. I was craving balance. I was craving more time in nature, more solitude. Like that is what I was working towards as I was leaving Toronto. I knew that I wasn't getting enough balance that I needed in life. Like I was at a point where I never had food in the fridge because I was literally never home. A day of rest was like an occurrence that happened at Christmas. Like I did not ever take downtime. So moving here, my life has totally shifted. And so it's been an adjustment. I'm definitely really enjoy the new balance in my life, but I will say I struggled a lot in the beginning because I went from working with hundreds of people, being on set in Toronto, to moving here and working fully remote by myself on the computer, and that was a challenge. And so the whole point of this new series is to show you how I adjust with this new way of life, but also bring out that extrovert in myself, take you along for the fun nights out, take you along for the time with my community, because I think that is still so important for everybody, even if you are an introvert. Like it's so great to have that human interaction. And I've learned to kind of have a little bit of introverted qualities along with my natural extrovertedness. So I think I found a good balance now, but I do think it's really important to have a little bit of both and just foster what you personally need most. So I won't make this too long, but that is the basis of this series. This is episode 1. It is my birthday weekend, so I am headed out tonight. I'm in the midst of getting ready. Probably gonna put out an episode about once a month, which will be great because it'll give me inspiration to get out and to see friends and to still have that balance even though I am home working so much, right? That's the goal of this whole series. Tonight I'm going out with some friends for my birthday. Tomorrow I'll be seeing some friends. I'm kind of filming this video over like 2 weeks. I'm really just excited to take you along and share a bit of a life of an extrovert. Thanks for being here. Let's not waste any time and get ready to go out. Network and be social. Whee! I am a butterfly. Hello, everybody. It's 7:35 and I am ready to call it a night. I literally am just having a glass of red wine. I'm gonna make dinner. And the funny thing is that I feel like the biggest difference in this new shift of life that I've gone through of being a full-time extrovert to somebody who now only goes out every once in a while is that like I just feel like going out takes so much more out of me now. Like today, for example, obviously I got up this morning and did a 6 a.m. workout. And then I went to a cafe to work. And then I had to drop off candles. And then I went back home to work. And then I called a friend on my lunch break. And then I worked some more. And then I called another friend. And then I met a friend and went to a networking event. And now I'm home. Which you're probably hearing that and you're like, that's a lot of extrovertness coming out. That would be a lot for anybody. But I feel like that would not faze me a few years ago. And now I'm like, oh my God, I had to talk to 6 different people today. And now I'm gassed. Now I just want to sit in front of the TV and watch a movie, which old Cornelia would have thought that was nothing. I worked around so many people every single day. And then I would go out and then I'd see my roommates and then I would hang out with friends. I was just always busy and always with people. And so I think the biggest shift in this phase of my life is that a full day of socializing is now kind of taxing. Whereas I think any introvert obviously would be I could never do that. I literally could not run on that social battery. But as somebody who was a huge people person, always lived with people, always worked with lots of people, rarely had moments alone, now doing something like today is a big deal for me. So it's funny how your life can shift with time. I think the biggest difference I've noticed from when I lived in Toronto, when I was in my 20s and I was going out all the time, I just don't crave that same socialization. And it might be because now I'm in a relationship or my priorities have shifted, but I definitely feel as I've gotten older and as I've had more time alone, I crave it a little bit more than I used to, which has been an interesting shift. So cheers to that. We're gonna have some alone time now and try to get to bed by 9 o'clock because this is the new reality. Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday. This is the end to my first episode of the Extrovert Diaries. I'm gonna have to get into the swing again of vlogging a traditional week in my life because sometimes I forget to whip out the camera. Today I was at brunch and I filmed some content for a short form video but forgot to do some horizontal for this long form. So I'm kind of reflecting on a few areas where I could have captured a bit more footage, but I had a very fun social weekend. Last night out with my friends was so amazing. Like just having a girls' night, eating delicious Italian food, dancing, listening to country music. Literally life can't be any better than that. So I've lost my voice a little bit because I was singing at the top of my lungs, but it was a great night. And then today had a lovely brunch with my sister, who was her birthday celebration, and then a couple of our friends. And now I'm having a quiet night to myself, editing this video, and I'm gonna start to work on episode 2 as we head into next week, because I am living in the city. I'm house sitting all week, so I will be doing lots of social things, more work networking events, spin class, seeing a friend, going to another birthday. So I'll bring you along for all of that. But as always, thank you for being here. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe. It means the world to me, and I'll see you in next week's vlog. Ciao.